Welcome to First and 15, the only podcast that's trying to get you paid. I'm here with two-time FFPC champ AB. Alongside him is my guy, Dio the Machine. Guys, we are bringing you another main event draft. This time, AB is going to be on the board. Whew. All right.
Let's go.
All right.
Main event.
How many bullets you got in the chamber left, man?
Not too many. These main events are costly. These are not.
Yeah.
Costly, but no, they're fun. They're elite. Obviously, large prize pool, smaller pool. So we all trying to get that 1 million, but also all trying to get our names out there as like a top fantasy player by winning this tournament. Just kind of something that you can just sort of kind of keep with you.
So you're drafting from the fifth slot again.
Yes.
It looks like there's a lot of sharks that's in this draft as well. How do you feel about like drafting another main event from the same slot? Because you drafted in the fifth slot last draft, right?
Not this. I think I have one coming up where I'm in the fifth spot. I mean, done a few drafts, so I've been in the middle. I just say a couple times. So
I'm not a fan of the middle.
Yeah, it's a little tough. But I think the hardest thing for me is just like you're not really being able to anticipate what's going to be there, and then kind of being far in between picks.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's a good thing because that's middle. Sometimes is where you can catch value. I mean, it all kind of depends. Like we don't know what spot is going to be the winning spot or be the most ideal spot to draft from. I think last year, no one was really like, loving drafting from the back end, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about like, I think everything was kind of referred to as this one tier, and then the back end was kind of But if you drafted from the back end last year, you probably ended up with quite a bit of Saquon and some players. But it's one of those things that does not matter all that much. But
Dio, you drafted last week on the show. First draft that you posted publicly. How do you feel about that team? Like after going back over that roster, have you gone back over it? Like, do you go back over your teams and like, or like, is it just like, all right, that's one in the books. I'm moving on.
I don't do that many drafts. I still gotta look at it just so I can kind of see
diversify
how it looks.
Yeah.
But I still feel the same. Since then, Rasheed Rice, that news came out, so that kind of threw things off.
Right, a day after you drafted too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I got a little bit of depth there, so I'm fine with the draft. I always kind of say, I mean, drafts are cool, but drafts are kind of like part of it.
Mm-hmm.
How to win in fantasy football. Still about how the season plays out, the waiver wire, and your start sit decision. The goal is really to just kind of build a good team. I kind of like say, especially like tournaments like this, it's like you draft a DFS pool of players to go into the season with. So you want to just draft that type of team where you can kind of figure out as the season goes on who to play. So, but no, I feel pretty good about my team.
All right, the draft is officially got underway. Jamar Chase goes first. Bijan is second, so everything's pretty chalk at this point.
Yeah. Going back to Dale's draft, if you haven't seen that episode, please go back and watch it because I felt like when I went back and reviewed it, even with the Rasheed Rice news, I really loved how that draft kind of turned out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just from a standpoint of, you went. You can call it zero, recall whatever you want, but you got a lot of wide receivers early. But instead of like forcing yourself into just a random running back, you got another wide receiver.
Yeah.
And so Rasheed Rice being out is not a big thing for you. You're gonna have that gun ideally when it counts, and so you got plenty of places to plug.
Everybody's healthy too. So I don't have to worry about the injured guy. I can't even play on in the roster clock. Anyway, you're on the clock. You got 30
I'm on the clock. I'm on the clock.
I'm scared.
I've actually.
This defense is cool, man. Play it. But are you considering multiple people?
Kind of. Right now, I'm between Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb, and I just kind of want to play that ADP game.
That's C-Mac.
C-Mac would have been kind of like, all my other players went. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and just lock this in. But C-Mac, I think I would have chosen.
I did CD last week too, if you recall.
Yeah.
And I posted my first draft, and I went CD Lamb in the first round too. So
the CD pod.
Yeah,
right,
but honestly, like I think CD right now for me is probably my number 2 wide receiver. Just more and more, I kind of look at the Dallas Cowboys as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you hear things and things just kind of become like, okay, I've heard that, I'm aware of that, but then things start to settle in, and then other things start to get added in. So when you kind of really look at this team, and I think the biggest thing has just been like, what are they doing in the run game? are they really going to be able to sustain their offense via the run?
Mhm.
And a lot of people said, like, what are they going to do? They're going to have to pass, and I've heard that, and I've agreed with it, but like now it's like finally settling in as far as like not necessarily expecting much from the defense, and it can obviously always change, but it's not like I'm expecting the defense to be all world.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I really, really do like the addition of George Pickens as far as what it does to the offense and this team not being able to zero in on CD, and then also sustaining drives and just kind of giving, sort of kind of almost a Chase Higgins type picture. And this is honestly, this is kind of what the Cowboys really resemble the most to me, is like the 2025 version of the last year's Cincinnati Bengals. Potentially bad defense.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know
So y'all think the defense is going to be bad?
I don't know, but I also know that they're like, they got to play the Eagles twice, so
And the Commanders.
and the Commanders twice. We'll see what happens with the Giants, but I just feel like they're gonna have to score some points on that team. So
So if you feel that way, as far as the Cowboys passing game this season, how do you feel about that?
That's my next question.
So
Yep.
I'm very big on, honestly, quarterbacks who can run, and I don't like the fact that Dak came off a leg injury, and that he's that much older. I know he looks a lot more slim, and I'm sure he'll get some rushing in there.
I don't even know how he
But-
looks slim now. He lost weight.
Yeah, he's lost weight.
But you
looking
just-
pretty, but for me, it's Dak is not one of like these guys that I'm targeting. I'm definitely going to have some Dak, but I would much rather go for a guy like Justin Fields or wait and get guys like Brock Purdy and couple that with a Drake May. But if it happens where Dak is the one that falls, 'cause I got a lot of Dak early on,
Mhm.
but everybody's been talking him up recently, so his price has really increased. The one
Has
advantage,
it increased?
yeah, it's increased. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. The one advantage though has been that or that he has for FFPC specifically is that you get that first look preview. I'm about to be on the clock real quick. I'll let y'all boys talk and I
Well,
figured
we got
it
like
out.
5 minutes. I guess we drafted. Hey, y'all see from last week. I will wait until I'm on the clock to look at it. While he look at it like
Very
6
different.
weeks ahead.
Yeah.
That's fine, man. Everybody's
Steve-
process is the process.
See, but like here's the thing: you and I were just comparing this Dallas Cowboys team to last year's Bengals team. But think about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow isn't a running quarterback, and he's the 4th or 5th quarterback taken off the board right now. So, like, how do we reconcile not taking Dak?
And
Higher.
that goes back to my question that I asked y'all, a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
Do y'all really believe the Cowboys defense is going to be bad? Because if that's true, because I personally actually think they're actually going to be a good defense.
Mhm.
Maybe not the best,
Yeah.
maybe not top 5, but I think they're going to be strong. Like, they're going to give offensive fits.
Yeah.
But if I'm reading that wrong, and I wanted y'all to kind of tell me your
Yeah.
reasoning, if they're actually going to be a bad defense, then yes, we probably do need to start looking at Dak and Burrow in a similar, maybe not the exact same vein,
Yeah.
but maybe like Dak is Burrow light.
Yeah.
Now, if their defense is reputable, then
Yeah.
then he's definitely not Burrow.
And I was like Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels. That was like on all my team last year. It was my 2 highest owned quarterbacks. But Joe Burrow was going a lot later. I do not like where Joe Burrow is going now in draft. So I almost had
So you're saying Joe Burrow's kind of overrated, or
not. Well, I think
Overvalued.
yeah. I won't say overvalued, but I feel like I would just rather wait and get somebody else because I felt like he had such an elite season last year with that defense. I mean, they weren't just a bad defense; they had a lot of injuries too as well.
Yeah.
And then you also had, for the most part, his main receiving options stayed healthy throughout the year.
well, right now
And
they have
then-
a holdout in the best defensive lineman.
Yep.
He led the league in sacks last year, I
Yeah.
believe. Then the first round pick,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right player for
Yeah.
A&M, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
is not even signed at the moment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you're talking about injuries; they're coming out the gate.
I think, situations like that for me are tough because it's almost like I feel like I'm hoping to hit twice. Genty fell pretty late there.
He did fall.
Yeah, you want to give the viewers a recap for people who are not Chase Brown that early? Damn. Okay, so I think Chase Brown in the 3rd round is done.
You think so?
Oh yeah, based on kind of what I've been seeing lately.
All right, so let's go back through the first round for the listeners, for the audio listeners. Jamar Chase, first round. Bijan, Gibbs, Amon Ra went a little earlier than I like. At number 4. Obviously, AB took CD Lamb. Justin Jefferson followed next. Then Saquon, Brock Bowers, Malik Neighbors, Trey McBride. So 2 tight ends in the first round.
Yeah.
C-Mac. And then Devon A-Chain. Second round, we got Puka, Nico Collins, who, to be honest, I take Nico in the first round personally.
25 seconds.
Derrick Henry, Brian Thomas, Ashton Genty,
So I have so much.
Chase Brown.
Have so much George Kittle.
Oh, you taking George Kittle?
Yeah, we're gonna take George.
Mm.
We're gonna take George Kittle again. Yeah.
He's gonna be.
Yeah,
He'd have made it back to you in the third. I think.
No. Well,
He wouldn't have made it back.
yeah. So looking at ADP the last couple of weeks, he goes at the back end. He goes at the 210. Tight end premium. George Kittle is my number one tight end. Did I give you my tight end rankings?
She gave it to me, but I've been up for it yet.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if you finished. I don't know if you finished it or not.
DMs like he's the one that's holding them back. But no, Kittle's my number one tight end, and I'm not saying that from to try to make Kittle's my number one. I think.
Why? What's your reason?
I just look at the
Schedule?
49ers situation as far as their receiving options, and and look at Mike Shanahan, and I look at what he did last year, and sort of kind of a very similar situation, but what I felt like was a tougher situation where the left tackle was out for quite a bit, C-Mac was out for quite a bit, Debo was still there. And if you look at what George Kittle did last year, he points per game was the number one tight end. So me saying like him being the number one tight end really is not saying much because last year, you just look points per game, he was the number one tight end. And I just feel like this year you have an entire offseason of knowing like Ayuk is potentially going to be out a while. He may not be himself for a little bit. This is what I'm thinking. I'm trying to get in the mind of Shanahan, which is dangerous, but. And I'm looking around like,
I'm sorry. Did I miss this?
Yeah.
I did
not.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah. That's why I said like he went a little earlier than I was.
You went number 4?
Yeah.
And y'all just let that. I didn't even like.
Yeah,
we could have had a whole discussion about that.
You probably should have.
But wow, okay. Okay.
But
yeah. I mean, like I don't like Amon-Ra going that high either, but I don't know. Yeah.
But honestly, going Kittle here was, partly because I'm looking at, I think the other guy that I was thinking.
Who's the other guy you're thinking?
Jonathan Taylor.
He's still on the board too.
Yeah. And I don't want to say like I'm high on Jonathan Taylor, but I can just see a scenario where, he's something like Saquon Barkley.
Do you think you would have been reaching for him because he was the next highest running back on your ranking?
No, I don't think I would have been reaching. Yeah, I think based on my rankings, like he pretty much should go where Chase Brown and in that area in that same tier for me. So that wasn't a major thing. But then there are some running backs that I think in the third round that I'm like, also high on. I've like become higher on as the days have progressed in the off season, and so. I felt like let me go ahead and try and get that elite tight end and then kind of be done with that because this is like I feel like the third round is very tough. You really gotta make the right decision here. Some of these guys are gonna be fine. Some of these guys are gonna bust. And obviously, we want the guys that are gonna really excel in value. In my mind, I always like to look at that 300-point mark. First 3 rounds, I want to get 300-point fantasy players, at least per points per game.
And it also seems like there's a pretty sizable tier break right there. After.
So this to me was like the kind of worst case scenario right here, which is the running back that I wanted.
Oh no.
Nah.
Yeah, the running back that thing was kind of glitching, I guess.
The running back that I wanted was Breece Hall there. He was right before me. So that's kind of like the tough thing right there as far as hoping and trying to plan, and then obviously it didn't go through, which is okay. It's okay.
So what are you looking at? 37?
So right now I'm trying to decide between Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. I do have quite a bit of Garrett Wilson.
I know you got a lot of Devontae Adams too, though.
Oh, sorry, I had quite a bit of Devontae Adams, I should say. So trying to figure out which one.
Like I told you, man,
that's the tough.
Vegas props have Justin Fields have one of the lowest passing yardage out of all the starting quarterbacks.
Very much true.
And that I can't shake that.
Yeah, it's very much true. Very much true.
So,
and this is kind of off topic.
I wasn't saying that to get you to take Adams. I was just talking.
I was gonna take him in.
Don't blame me.
I was gonna take him in. But we're in training camp season right now, and I feel like obviously we're gonna get a ton of news and that news is going to affect us in ways that it should, in ways that it shouldn't, and it's always tough. And we may not know until like the end of the year if that news was relevant or not. But the way that I play it is more so like less about like how does this news affect me or have it like kind of take me off a guy or really put me on a guy. Unless it's something significant. And again, that is kind of a subjective thing. But the way I like trying to play all this news is like, okay, this guy's just been getting a lot of hype. And I just kind of base this just off of my like fantasy football feed on Twitter and based off of like any podcast that I'm listening to. Like, okay, this guy's getting a lot of hype right now. And then automatically you can just see and know that his ADP is going to rise. And so sometimes it may be warranted.
Right now you can think of like that?
Yeah, like one guy right now is Omarion Hampton, right? And so
Well, that's not training camp. That's more.
It's more other news. Yeah,
injury,
Hampton is one. I would say Garrett Wilson is one a little bit. Good. Good. Chase Brown has definitely been one that's been good. So I always go back first and then look at my like portfolio. And it's not that I don't want to draft these guys if I've already drafted them and I don't have to pay to rise in ADP. But if I've drafted these guys and I've gotten them at like a round later, then I'm definitely not forcing that issue. And if there's like a player that I have that's in the same tier ranking, I'm going to go with that other player. So for me, like, trying to like decide between Omarion Hampton and Devontae Adams here, I'm going to go with Devontae Adams because I don't see him falling out of the third. If anything, his ADP might rise a little bit. Hampton may continue to rise into the second, but I can definitely see a situation where Najee is back in camp in 2 weeks and then his ADP kind of, stagnates. Because one thing that I'll notice is like, I feel like a lot of the tweets or the discussions about these players are always dictated by whether or not the report was good or bad. Mm-hmm. So if we get a report that like Najee Harris is out, now everybody is hyped on Omarion Hampton. And again, potentially rightfully so, but then everything that comes out is all positive about Omarion Hampton. Mm-hmm. You got one of the people who like are who were like draft him is Omarion Hampton season, et cetera, et cetera. And then you got the other people who are like now throwing in a bunch of just like his spark scores and what the coaches said and clips about like impressors when coaches are asked like what are your thoughts on Omarion Hampton? Of course they're gonna say something positive. But one thing that never gets thrown out is the negative. And then vice versa. If there's a negative situation or a negative news item, then all the news that comes out is something that's negative about a player and why, his ADP isn't working. And there's people just, like, this is why I told you guys to fade such and such player. Mm-hmm. And so I try to just like play on it because I know that like these guys are going to rise. And sometimes that rise is just overinflated. And
so, and switching subject, you mentioned for getting off about Chase Brown. Yeah. And I think I've seen some tweets that I guess in the league. I think I saw the OC saying that Chase Brown's going to be focused on the offense, something like that. So that might be the news that you're referring to. But let me ask both of y'all this: with that sentiment on Chase Brown at the moment, how do y'all feel with the notion that he had some reps with the second team, or does it not matter? I'm really asking this just surface level, just your thoughts. Like, does it not matter, or do you have thoughts about that?
For me, it doesn't matter all that much, especially because he also had, in the same way the coach coming out saying that he's going to be the focal point or he's going to be a focal point of the offense this year.
Right. I mean, I'm not talking about just strictly the fact that he has some reps with the second team. Like, it doesn't matter to you, though?
Nah.
Chris, same for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same for me. And something is rubber to get somebody's mic. Is it?
And maybe me leaning forward.
I think it's Dios. Is it too low? Yeah, it feels like it's rubber. Yeah, all right.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, but going back to Devontae Adams, though, if Puka's going, front end of the second round, back end of the first, and then we're taking Devontae Adams, mid-third?
Yeah.
What is that saying about Matt Stafford?
Well, I think that's different. And maybe I should have been different. But the reason I do think it's different, I think because Matt Stafford, his target tree is so narrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he only throws it to two guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to his receiver. Tight end don't get much. Yeah, running back doesn't get much of a pass. A little bit, not much.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's throwing, he's only throwing to those two guys, and he doesn't run at all. Right? Anti-run. So
anti.
Right. Mm-hmm. So the other guy like Burrow, he does run a little bit. He throws to other players. He'll throw Mike the second 3 touchdowns. It won't be a thing. So for him, it's just about racking up yardage points. So that's what I would say about that. But you could argue the other way too. So I understand why it's something to question. You're about to get up.
All right, so you're one pick away. Who are you considering right here?
This is kind of for me like where there's like a major teardrop. So it's almost like whoever I go with here is just part of like one large team.
Let me ask you this: are you looking to build a certain type of team, or are you still looking to just get the best player that you want to get?
Highest value players. Players that the team.
She rised.
All right, so I'm starting to creep back up.
Sure. Maybe we can have this discussion on another episode or later, but I'm still not sure where I have Rice now that because here's the thing. Here's one thing, and I'm sorry, Abby. Abby's on the clock. Let me take that away. 45 seconds. I'll let you pick, and I'll say what I'm going to say.
Yeah, because that suspension is looming large, and depending on how long that suspension is going to be.
See, but that's the thing. Maybe I should shut up.
No.
I'm still not sure it's going to be a suspension or much of a suspension.
Well, there's going to be a suspension. He's on felony probation.
Okay, well, it might not be much of a suspension.
Now, that's the thing.
I don't know. It's just weird to me. I guess what's weird to me is the way the Chiefs are. They're acting like, no big deal. He expected it. He's practicing right now with all the first teams. Like, they're not cutting down his reps at all. Yeah. He's getting a lot of targets. Yeah. I'm sorry, who'd you pick?
Hurts. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So, go ahead.
No, I just the Rashee Rice thing is just weird to me. Yeah. I want to see it play out. So that's why it's hard for me to value where I have him right now. But go ahead with your pick.
No, I mean, when it comes to Rice, like, one, he's a wide receiver. There are tons of wide receivers. And so it's not like you're taking a zero at that position for 3 weeks.
Correct.
This is not best ball. I feel like a lot of the discussions really a lot of discussions don't really distinguish between best ball and redraft. So in best ball, you can still draft guys later that potentially can take up his points. Where, like, you created a monster by having Rashee Rice drafted later, and then one of your later round picks is just one that hits, which is kind of what you want in best ball anyway. Right? You know, I think there are plenty of guys in the back of my mind that go really late in drafts. I've been drafting for like pretty much all offseason, whose ADPs I am almost positive are going to rise, but then you can just use a couple with Rashee Rice. So
for you, it's definitely a reduction in value, but just not a lot, like not a big.
No, it's for me. It's like I almost feel like you could argue just taking him in the third round. To be quite honest,
just taking where he was.
I got
him in the third.
I feel like you could argue taking him in the third.
Well, he was going to the second too, so I get 1 round drop.
Yeah. But again, we both play greedy. We both play for value. So for me, like, I want to be greedy, so I don't want to take him in the third.
Right.
You took him in the 5th round, one draft, right?
Yeah. And so, like, you kind of get into some of these drafts, like, and then if a suspension drops. To me, like, obviously, going to be dependent on how many games. Because if he gets 2 games, then I feel like 4th round is probably
2 games will be. He might go up.
He might go up in value. But then if he gets 4 games, people can still kind of get a little scared off. So maybe it drops a little bit more. But even 4 games for me, like, that's a good chunk of the regular season. But I still feel like that's something that you can like withstand. So it's a little tough. So I'll get back on the clock here.
All right, Joe Burrow just went. So. Top 5 quarterbacks: Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and now Joe Burrow. I don't know if Joe Burrow should be in that top 5 fantasy quarterback discussion, man. Like, I mean, last year was a good year, but that's asking a lot for him to duplicate that type of production again to be a top 5 quarterback.
That's a little high for Jordan Pickens, isn't it?
And that's the thing. It's like George Pickens been getting a lot of positive buzz, right? So the ADP's gonna rise. So for me, it's just like, again, I really just sit there and like, okay, look, am I just hyped on this player because everything that's come out has been so positive about him right now, or is it like really warranted and valid? And I get it, because the comparison for everybody is like Pickens equals Higgins, and Higgins is going in the back end of the 3rd round, and so I get that comparison, but it's still one that I'm not 100% just there yet with.
All right, so you're 1 pick away.
Yeah.
Who are you thinking about right now?
So to me, this is just like one big tier. There's one guy that I probably got like at the top of my queue, but then other than that, like, it's just one big tier. So right now, like, basically the way that I'm drafting is I just got a bunch of guys that I want to get on my team. And some guys like may go 6th, 7th round, and I may just take them in the 5th or 6th round. And then other guys I feel like, okay, his value's been dropping, then I may go there. So yeah, this guy is one guy that I was actually considering him in the 4th round, but I want to. But we talked about it on the last pod, and we're going to be building kind of a pseudo zero RB or a zero RB build.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be strong everywhere, and then try and kind of build our team around that.
So that takes me to my next question. Like,
Really?
when I draft and I get this deep in the draft and I don't have a running back, I feel that need to sort of jump up and take a running back just to fill that spot. Even if it's a guy that I don't necessarily love, but I feel like I need a solid starting running back. Why not take a running back there and continue to stab at receiver?
This is like, I may not answer this question completely, but try and like jump back to the way the board looked and what was being said and what was a fad and kind of what was the mantra of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
The mantra of 2024 was like get wide receivers, get wide receivers, get wide receivers, and running backs were being pushed down the board. And then everybody was drafting like backup RBs later. A lot of people were building zero RB teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened? Somehow
robust
all the RBs not only just like destroyed, they all stayed healthy as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like that's and we keep saying this. We've said this plenty of times on the pod. Like that was not the norm. That's not the norm year to year. Is that these guys just stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So, as like ugly as this team may look in the context of drafting in 2025, and as bad as I may feel, I don't have a running back right now. Like Dale says, like we don't know what's going to happen. And what if we just regress back to the mean? What if like 50%, 60% of these guys get injured in the top rounds? Mm-hmm. And then like now I have not only the strong wide receivers to go with it, a strong quarterback and a tight end, but then I have all these running backs that I've like built that are now not only not injured, but are providing RB1 values.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's kind of the way that I think about it. It's like not necessarily like because we don't know what's going to happen. And yeah, you get to a point where it's just like, oh man, I don't have any running backs. But, you just attack it later on. You attack it.
I know this is out right, but I heard with non-football related.
Oh no, I didn't.
He's on the N5 non-football injury, so it's not due to the ankle injury from last year. It's not due to anything that happened in practice. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's really
real quiet. And remember, I told y'all a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
There was a report that he was wearing a boot.
Yeah.
For a certain amount of time. So there's a lot of mystery and smoke. I'm just saying.
Is there anything?
Let's not get caught off guard. Stay ready.
Is there anything in the tea leaves regarding like them potentially looking for an out in this contract?
Who Mixon?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything. Okay. Actually, I think they actually gave him. Yeah, they gave him an extension when they traded for him.
Yeah.
I think it was right after they traded for him.
He's got guaranteed.
It might have been this year they gave him an extension, but they did extend him.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was a long extension, maybe it was 2 years. I'll look it up, actually. Why?
I have this working theory on the running backs, by the way.
Yeah.
And if anyone can debunk this, please tell me in the comments. So I think this is one of the, not first, but this was an outlier situation in which the top running backs actually played on the best teams that got a chance to like sit them and rest them down the stretch.
Yeah.
Because they were so elite. Right? Like they were already like in the playoff picture. Mm-hmm. They were not making playoff pushes, right? Mm-hmm. So like when you think about Saquon staying healthy and him potentially breaking a record, he was like, nope, let the young boys eat, sitting on the bench, resting up. Yeah. Those are carries that he essentially gave back to the game, right? When you think about Derrick Henry, like think about how good that Ravens team was, and they were not necessarily fighting this, clawing for a playoff position. Mm-hmm. So Derrick Henry didn't necessarily have to play late and deep in the games. When you think about guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, he was with an elite team. Not only did they have David Montgomery, but not having to play these guys late. I don't think any of those teams are in the same situation going into this season where I think when we look at the NFC East, I think we see them as being a bit stronger. That the Eagles may have to play Saquon a bit more and later down the stretch. I think we think that same thing. Um, when it comes to the Ravens, I think we believe that at least that division should be slightly better than it was last year, to where Derrick Henry might not be able to, sit out late in the fourth quarters and things like that. Like a lot of these divisions should be a bit more competitive, and so that's my working theory on why a lot of these running backs stay healthy the entire season. Is that like there's a lot of carries that they didn't take because their teams were so elite and so ahead of other teams in that division. And so I don't know. I'm working on it again. Like when you think about like those top running backs in the division. So we got one pick before you up. So what are you thinking at this point?
This is a fairly easy decision. I definitely would have gone with my boy Olave.
Mm-hmm.
He's another guy who's like now named and starting to kind of gain some steam. So his ADP has been rising a little bit, but I still love him where he goes. So
And we just texted about him,
yeah. And I
today.
mean, look, honestly, I would take him a lot higher. I would try to take advantage of his current ADP price before it rises. But this is a guy that was getting some steam, is not getting as much steam now.
Mm-hmm.
So you feel like,
Mm.
and this is philosophical, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not trying to fit it into that box, but do you feel like Twitter news and reports really do sway these boys that much?
Absolutely, that because it's not, and I think it's all one large kind of ecosystem and chamber between Twitter and YouTube and podcasts. I think it's just all one big because we're all kind of really drawing from the same source. Even like someone on a certain pod, on a certain fancy website will like still review, talk, discuss the work of somebody else on another podcast. And I'm not saying this in a negative way. I'm just saying that like a lot of the information is just shared, So I don't even think that we're getting necessarily new information or anything like that. I think it's all in like how we're processing the information. But you just see it. Like again, sometimes it's warranted. Like news comes out, Twitter news, but you just see it. You can just see your Twitter feed. Like one guy gets hyped up for whatever reason.
I know the hype, but I'm not questioning. I'm more questioning. Do you think that really then translates to how drafts? Like I get the Hampton thing, right? Hampton, everybody understands. There's an injury. The other guy is not even practicing, and there's mystery around that. With Rice, obviously the suspension news. But other than that,
Chase Brown was going like when I was
okay, I can see that.
He was going like
maybe
late third round.
That.
Yeah. Tyreek Hill was going late third round. Remember
I think the Tyreek stuff was more because of trade. John being traded.
But then we
talked about that a few weeks
ago.
But
then look at Jalen Waddle. His ADP is technically still like at the bottom of the sixth round.
But I don't think it ever changed though. For some reason, I don't understand the Waddle thing. Like I don't get that because I really personally feel like John being lost actually benefits Waddle more than it does Hill. But like we mentioned several weeks ago when the trade happened, Tyreek Hill's ADP jumped immediately into the second round.
Yep.
And I was questioning like, why did that even happen?
Yeah.
But still, that's the only thing that's really going on. I mean, besides that, I don't really think news has really moved him too much.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is sometimes I wonder, like we think these drops are, we think these drops in the bucket are having more of an effect than what's really happening.
Potentially.
And I don't know. It actually allows you to take advantage the other way. So if positive news starts coming out, maybe I get in a draft, maybe I actually target a guy that I wasn't targeting before because now he might be undervalued. But I don't know.
Yeah. Essentially, for me, like I'm just trying to take advantage of the ADP.
That's high for Travis.
I know, right? So this is kind of like new draft is for me, or a new draft in the sense of like where a lot of these players are going. You see,
talking to us about Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
So for me, looking at a situation where a lot has changed with that team, new quarterback, they really revamped that O-line, and just maybe finding ourselves in a situation where he played and performed well last year. And if you look at just like a lot of the metrics,
injuries don't scare you. because he was in and out a lot, and he was on a lot of injury reports last year.
Honestly, for me, injuries are just like everybody can get injured. I don't know.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Not too worried about any of that, to be quite honest. But yeah, for me, I just see a situation where like that line dude played well. Again, quotes are quotes, but there's one quote that stays in my mind from his head coach who's just like, it's like towards the back end of the season, he was like, man, he like really battled through injuries, and still played, still went out there, still like fought for it. He's like that something about like that, just like that's what I want from my players. Like this is like epitomizes like what our team to be. Something along. I'm sure I butchered that, but that kind of quote is really like stuck in my mind. It's like this is not going to be a guy that's just going to be kind of casted off to the side, And I feel like Tajay Spears is like a perfect compliment. Like this is not a knock on Tajay Spears. I feel like he's a really good compliment to Tony Pollard. But
did I update y'all on Mixon's contract?
No.
He signed. He actually did a 3-year extension when they traded for him. So it was actually a 3-year deal, but the out is not until after the season. Okay. So most likely he's going to be a running back on the roster. Whether he finishes the season as a starter, I can't speak on. You know what's crazy? I'm actually really high on Nick Chubb as a Texan. I don't know if I'm high on it as far as fantasy is concerned, but as far as the Texans and what we're trying to do as a team, I really like how he fits. And if he's healthy, and that's the big if, right? But like you just said, injuries, we don't worry about that. If he's healthy, I think he could contribute quite a bit for the Texans. And if he's healthy, as far as fantasy is concerned, he's going to eat into a lot of Mixon's value. A lot. A lot. As a matter of fact, personally, I think once that signing occurred, again, and then people are questioning him being healthy. I get that. So there's definitely going to be people totally off him. But the people that consider all scenarios, and one scenario is him actually being healthy, that should have made Mixon's ADP drop and Chubb's go up quite a bit. In my mind.
And that for me, like that kind of like idea of 1A running back, 1B or whatever you want to call it, really kind of even to the workload. That just like fits in my mind with so many of these running backs. So like I have like this like huge tier where just like I don't say it falls off a cliff, but there's just guys like their production is like replaceable. And I feel like it's a situation where even if that other guy gets hurt, they just will put somebody else potentially in that situation. I don't necessarily know that for Mixon, but like for a lot of these other guys, and so like Chubb, I don't know why, or Chuba Hubbard, like I don't know why, but something like I'm just like not feeling with Chuba Hubbard this year in the 5th round. And I don't know if it's the metrics that I'm seeing with him in the passing game. I don't know if I feel like, maybe Bryce,
to give you solace, I don't believe at all in Rico Dowdle.
Yeah.
And Trevor Etienne, he's a 4th round pick. He's actually the running back drafted after Scatterfield, but I don't think he's very good. Like I remember watching him when he was in college. So I don't think he's very good. So it might be a similar situation last year where he's just the best running back on the field. And they just keep giving him all this work. Because even when they were trash, they kept giving him work. And that's where his value came. Now, y'all know, even last year I was talking on Chuba, so I had a lot of Chuba in a lot of my teams because he was also going really late. This year, where he's going, I haven't drafted Chuba not once. I don't think I will. Unless, I don't know what can happen for me to want to draft Chuba out. Because I will say this. If the Panthers added a running back out the blue, or say I'm just wrong about Dowdle and Etienne, that's going to really, really hurt Chuba a lot. A whole bunch, So it's more about the surrounding factors around Chuba where his value comes into play for me.
So this is an interesting. Obviously, the Chris Godwin news came out. Chris Godwin's still available, still on the board.
What was the Chris Godwin news?
That he just was not going to start camp.
But everybody, do people think he was going to start camp?
I think people will. Yeah, I think so.
If that's
the new news was that he actually had a cleanup procedure.
Okay.
And to me, again, like a cleanup procedure, like you don't want to have any cleanup procedure, but I don't know. It's one of those situations. Like I'm very interested to see how far he drops, and then at some point there's going to be a point where he drops, and I'm like, okay, like potentially a buyer. So
you're a believer in Godwin this year?
I wouldn't say believer. I would just say that like
I mean, if you're a buyer, then you got to believe something, right?
Yeah, I would say, and Pittman going this early. So this draft is like interesting because a lot of these guys I just Diggs, Diggs, Pittman, like these are guys like that's in the back of my mind. I'm like, okay, I can get those guys in round 9, 10. I can kind of center my build around that. So this is an interesting draft. But I don't know. Yeah. So with guys like Pittman or guys like Rashee Rice or guys we're expected to miss time or we're talking about injuries, I don't know. This year, I'm like really, how like always like feel like the season is in 4 quarters and guys can like kind of have ebb and flows or like guy may be really valuable one quarter and not as valuable another quarter.
Right.
The way the board has been set up, and maybe that's changing now that it's becoming looks like it's maybe getting a little tighter. But the way the board has been set up all offseason, I feel like I just want to get this guy if I know that he can give me a 4-game stretch of just like elite numbers. So with the news out right now, everybody's like draft a Mecca, and he just like, oh man, I love like 8th round Godwin. Like, that's kind of nice, especially that's kind of nice. But yeah, with everyone like draft a Mecca. So are you drafting a Mecca for the entire season? Because by that you're basically telling me that you think a Mecca or that Chris Godwin is just not going to be healthy the entire season, right? Like if you want, I hear like a Mecca should be going a lot earlier. Maybe he should be like approaching or passing Chris Godwin, and I feel like that's a tough sell for me because I don't know that Chris Godwin's going to be out.
The argument was that Mecca might be better than Godwin?
If you want to make that argument, you make that argument. That I do not necessarily feel. I feel like there's a lot of things that would be in the way of that.
And that's what I'm saying. You believe because keep in mind, Godwin's coming off of a pretty severe injury, ankle injury. Still, obviously, we just mentioned not practicing. Probably going to maybe has potentially start the season off the PUP. Maybe not. We'll see. But then he's also 29. Like we're not talking about a spring chicken.
Yeah.
He is getting up there in age, and that's when you see people start to take that that dip in production.
Yeah.
All right. So you're back on the clock.
I'm back on the clock.
Got your first running back in Tony Pollard.
This is a very interesting
draft. That's what I'm saying. This draft is kind of crazy. So at some point, I got to consider Quinshon Judkins on this type of build. But
really, you gonna go Judkins?
No, I'm not gonna go Judkins.
There you go.
I'm trying to just play it as far as trying to determine who can come back to me, who'll be back. It's tough. So it's kind of one of those type deals. Woo.
Caught him on the clock. He's sweating on the clock.
I'm trying to determine.
He's sweating on the clock. But no, Quinshon, like
15 seconds.
I know I've texted this, and I'm probably going to regret putting this on wax. But like, I'm drafting a lot of Quinshon since he's dropped a bit because he's dropped probably a couple of rounds since the whole assault situation. After kind of looking into it, like I was like, no, like I think he can beat this.
Pick.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about
Ricky Pearsall?
Yeah. So I want Pearsall here.
Who's currently injured?
Yeah, he's currently injured, but he's actually, he's running quite a bit in camp. Or not, I should say running quite a bit. Saw him running in camp, and they feel like he's going to be back fairly soon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to make of, Pearsall and Jennings. I do know Pearsall was a first-round pick last year, and if anybody, from an injury standpoint, I'm worried about is definitely Ayuk. Just knowing the type of injury he had with like a multi-ligament knee injury, multi-ligament, not just ACL. Those are very, very tough to come back from. And then obviously Debo not being there. So, what type of role Pearsall is going to have, I don't necessarily know that there's going to be a Debo role, but I do know that they drafted him in the first round. So to me, that just kind of tells me that they had some type of insight. So kind of piggybacking or talking about like, Dayo's draft from last week, I don't want to like kind of put myself in a situation where I'm basically just drafting to try to fill my RB2 role and not necessarily and just kind of passing up on value elsewhere. So I may have considered other guys like Scam, Cataboo, or Jalen Warren used to fall kind of in that range. I may have considered those guys before, but I feel like you know what, let me just kind of really shore up my wide receiver room, give myself every potential chance of just being able to dominate at all the other positions. So that because the RB2 position, I feel like if anything is going to be the easiest one to fill. Even J.K. Dobbins went earlier. He was the one that I was also considering in that build too as well.
Did Scatterboo go before Tyron Tracy?
Yep. But I mean that's an ambiguous situation. So that's just a situation where you
pick your poison.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a tough situation.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. They're valued literally in the same spot. If you really look at it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Josh Downs? I mean, like, I don't know where he's going to fall. Like, obviously, I'm out on Anthony Richardson, so this is crazy to say, but I mean, just looking at the best case scenario with Daniel Jones, maybe. I mean, like he gets some burn, but they still got Pittman there. They still. I mean, I think Mitchell is still working in that same space. So, what do you guys think about Josh Downs?
Talent wise, I think he's the best receiver on the team.
Yeah.
So take it for what you want at that point. Really about if they want to scheme him up or if they want.
All right, so I'm gonna get you guys input on this one.
Confident quarterback.
We on the clock. I'm gonna get you guys position.
You're on the clock.
Okay, I'm on the clock. I'm on the clock.
We are not
All
on
right.
the clock.
So in the queue we got Quinshon Judkins and Bashal Tootin.
The question for you is how far you think if you want Judkins, how far do you think he can fall?
I don't think he's falling much further than that.
So you don't. So basically, you're telling yourself if you don't pick him now, you're not getting him.
Whether you not get
honestly, I'm not quite sure. I don't think I'll get Tootin either.
But you're more likely to get Tootin. Than,
so you have to pick which one you want.
You think I'm more likely to get Tootin?
Yeah. If you really think to yourself, both of them, neither of them are going to come back to you. You have to pick one that you want.
Let's go Tootin.
Tootin may be running back 3 on that team.
He may be.
I've said this, coming around a little bit on Bigsby though.
I don't know. For me, I've said this like just literally all off season where I felt like they want a running back who can catch passes. Like he uses, Liam Cohen uses his running back in the passing game a lot. And I feel like this is a team too, especially you guys aren't like necessarily the hugest believers in Travis Hunter. Like they did it in Tampa Bay with guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, So why wouldn't they want to why wouldn't they? And then there was I think it was with the Tampa Bay beat reporters. There was like a little segment where they just, they asked him, it was a prompted question, but they asked him about like the screen game and like, running backs in the passing game. And he, Liam Cohen kind of went in and talked about like the importance of that and like the nuances of that. So to me, like Tootin is not, he wasn't like this prolific, receiver in college, but I think he definitely, based off of like, he was a guy I was high on pre-draft. But I just don't. Bigsby, when you look at his receiving chops, has just been like non-existent. So one of those things, though, like this is the type of build.
Yeah.
And honestly, in all these teams, we're like, ultimately telling ourselves a story. But if I got to pick a guy, I'm definitely picking the guy that I feel like has the potential, has at least the athleticism, and then has the potential to really kind of break out, not just in between the tackles, but also in the passing game. To me, I
think
really
that's Quinshon Judkins, to be honest, man.
What?
Like I do. I think he's a star. I am big on him. Like if it wasn't,
but he's not in the passing game.
He caught passes at Ohio State. I mean, like
that worries me a little bit more in the passing game. But
to be honest, like he was that back for them. Like that was what he did with Ohio State. Like they allowed Trevion Henderson to be sort of like the somewhat bell cow. Like
I definitely am not arguing you quit Quinshon versus Tootin. I think obviously the issue with Quinshon right now is just we just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm more scared than you are.
Yeah.
I'm more worried that he's going to miss. Maybe not even play. I mean, he's not even under contract. I don't know what that situation is.
That's
so like that to me is just a worrisome situation, and I don't know. Like I could be 100% wrong. I just don't know. I don't know where are you with Judkins?
I think he's gonna miss some time.
Yeah.
If anything, especially the worst case scenario as far as how much time he'll miss is if they drag it out. Because I think if they drag it out, I don't think the commissioner can allow him to play in the league while he's dealing with a domestic violence case. That he was ready. Same thing with Jimmy Ward. Like I feel like the commissioner would say, look, we can't have just from a PR standpoint, we can't have you playing football games while you're involved currently in a domestic violence case. Of course, this is not to the extent of Deshaun Watson, but that's what happened to Deshaun Watson. He was on the commissioner exemption list before his case went to trial, and he was.
That was completely different.
Well,
that was sexual, and that was like multiple people. Quinshon Judkins.
I don't think the quantity matters. I think it's just. I think it was domestic. I think it's crimes against women, right?
And this is the thing too. It's the Cleveland Browns. Like they already had the Deshaun Watson issue. Like, do they want another PR nightmare as far as like? Okay,
That's
now
fair.
we just. I mean, like it's just one. It's one of those.
So that's
things
what I'm
like-
saying. So if it drags out,
Yeah.
I don't think the commissioner can allow him to play, and that'll be
Yeah.
worse because then he's going to be out on the list, and then when he is eventually suspended, because I do think he'll be suspended.
Yeah.
Then he'll get games.
See, I think the contract issue is the bigger thing because he has the criminal case. I think that's going to affect what clauses they put into the contract, and then that may drag out. But like just from what I've seen, I listened to the 911. I read the offense report on that assault. Like I don't think I think he's going to take that case to trial, and I think that is going to be a hard case to find him guilty on. And if that's the case, to suspend him, I don't know, man.
But that's
I
the
don't
thing.
see
If
it.
they take it to trial, that means because the trial's not going to happen next month.
No, trial's not going to happen this year.
Right.
I just don't like the fact that like I haven't heard anything come out of his camp. I mean, I get like I want to respect the legal process, but I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard a statement like, "Look, we just want to allow the legal process to set it out. We just want he wants to like proclaim his innocence." Like,
no, they're not going to say that.
Yeah.
But usually, like, there's some statement that comes out.
They're going to be radio silent until something resolved.
Maybe.
And again, the fact that it is being dragged out, and Chris, if it does go to trial, I think that's actually worst case scenario because again, I think the commissioner will then be like, "Well, you're dealing with the active." Domestic violence case, we can't have you playing.
Yeah.
And then we're going to put you on the list.
I think, honestly, I think the league is kind of changing when it comes to.
Dylan Sampson's going to go crazy.
Yeah.
And then when Judkins time to come back, they can't put him back on the bench.
Well, that's the real issue.
That's the real question. Do I take Sampson over Judkins? Like that's the real question.
Crazy that's the real. About to have an opportunity to take
Yeah. So this is kind of one of those drafts where, I'm just going to take what falls to me. I'm not going to be like aggressive. I think, again, I keep going back to like this being like the craziest time of the year where there's just so much news and so much emotion that goes into those news. It's just like, oh man, I want to get this player. Oh man, like this, you heard good news and you're like, okay, I want to get this guy on my team. And then a guy that you didn't hear good news on, or that may not even necessarily be negative news, but just maybe news like he didn't start camp or something like that. Then those guys like aren't as coveted. And so this stuff changes like rapidly. We could literally get, news tomorrow. Quinshon Judkins signs his contract, is like back at camp. Mm-hmm. Jerome Ford back in camp. Chris Godwin is out there running with the trainer, looks great, is ready to go. I mean, we can get all this news that can come out that can change on a dime.
What are you about to do?
I mean, I can't not take it.
Okay,
like this is kind of one of those drafts where it's just like, you look back and you're like, how did he get Quinshon Judkins in the 10th round on the 0? How did you guys let him do X, Y, and Z?
If it plays out
right. If it plays out that way. If it plays out that way.
It's
exactly.
definitely a risk.
Exactly.
I get the risk.
Exactly. The real question will be like, do I like,
you gonna double tap Sampson?
If he falls back to me, do I double tap Sampson? That's the real question. That's something like I'm not, it's, you want the upside, but outside of like Sampson, a lot of these guys are kind of like what if guys. And I want to increase my bullets, but at some point.
What do you think the weakest part of your team is right now, besides running back?
That's it. Like for me, Jalen Hurts is like in that top tier quarterbacks for me.
So you're pretty much going to focus on running backs here on out?
I'm pretty much going to focus here on running backs. I keep forgetting to bring up the like last 3 week schedule, and I know it's hard to project what's going to happen, 3 weeks from now. Like 5-6 months from now, the last 3 weeks of the season. But weeks 15, 16, and 17 for the Philadelphia Eagles, Las Vegas Raiders, Washington Commanders, and the Buffalo Bills. Like, forget about their defenses, okay? At the very least, 2 potentially very high potent offenses. Mm-hmm. And then Vegas may be, a team that can put up numbers too as well. Yeah. But like to me, like that's why I really like, and I love where Hurts is going too. Like I love where a lot of these quarterbacks are going. I feel like you can do so much with quarterbacks, and I feel like if I ever get if Kamara, Walker, certain guys fall to me in that 4th round, I'll definitely take those guys over the quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. But like whenever there's that big tier back, I'm not just jumping up and just grabbing Chuba Hubbard just to like get a running back. Then I'm gonna like attack the quarterback position because I know that gives me a significant advantage over the field. So,
all right.
And again, like, as ugly as it felt and as bad as it felt initially, when I had 0 running backs going into round 7, like now is like when it's starting to kind of fill itself out a little bit. It's starting to kind of like turn into something. It's starting to kind of come into life a little bit. You can like, I can tell my, self a story with this team, and one thing I love about this build, again, we'll see what happens with Judkins, is that like I got 2 young running backs.
Mm-hmm.
So, you always kind of think about like who's like balling at the end of the year, especially on teams that are not as good.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually when like those running backs start to kind of potentially either take over, or they're like, hey, like let's give this guy a second look, or let's give this guy another look, things like that. So
There goes Samson.
Right,
Samson,
Chris,
yeah,
at some point, I did want to give
Which I
my
love.
dynasty sleeper, because
Right.
every
Yeah, you gave
episode I used to just throw out sleepers here.
Mhm.
And I wanted to actually list them out, right, just so I can keep track for myself.
Bruh.
Obviously,
Real quick, I'm gonna let you get to that. Go back and listen to the previous episode. If you're not listening all the way through, please listen all the way through, because the sleepers that he gives out are absolutely ridiculous.
Mhm.
Right.
Because 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, that's when like Twitter goes wild with these names.
yeah.
I mean, like all these guys that people are drafting now, they could have been drafting well before.
That's on you.
Yeah.
So I want to give my sleepers, Chris. So should I give it in the middle of this draft, or should I wait till the
Let's still do it in
That's
the
not
end.
live, man.
Just let me know when you want me to do
No,
it.
give some now. Give a little bit of something now
No, I
for
wanna
people
get
that
it
don't
over
normally
with.
watch.
I just want to throw it out there.
Yeah.
Throw out some of
I want to make it like
throw
a
out some of the names that you have, that, like guys that you like were like, okay, mention these guys, in the past, and now they're starting to like really.
Man, I don't remember, man. I
still
just got
let the AI picks it up.
I just
Let's
got to
talk
listen to
about
sleepers. So you tell me
Dio
when.
sleepers.
Jordan Watkins for one.
Oh yeah, he's on there. He's
Yeah.
on there. You want me to tell him now?
All
Yeah, tell
right.
me, 'cause
Okay.
you
I'm
mentioned
gonna
it.
list
I want to
all
make
those
sure that the AI picks it up so that it cuts it into like a separate video. Let's talk about Dio's sleeper picks.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna list them out. I'm not even gonna give much reasoning unless I just start rambling, or if y'all got questions.
Yeah.
But no specific order. Elijah Mitchell for the Chiefs. I still think there's something there. I don't think you should ignore that. Phil Maffa for the Cowboys, a rookie from Clemson.
But you've been beating that drum for a while.
I'm gonna continue to beat the drum, honestly, throughout the season. Dante Thornton, he's the rookie receiver for the Raiders. He started at Oregon, finished at Tennessee. Juwan Johnson.
I've been
tight end.
drafting the hell out of Dante Thornton.
There you go.
Ever since you
He's
put
been
him on the
rocking.
radar.
Juwan Johnson, tight end for the Saints. Are you on the clock yet? No. Okay. Taj Brooks, running back for the Bengals, went to Texas Tech. And again, I've mentioned all these guys before. I'm just reiterating them. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, running back for the Commanders, went to New Mexico, transferred to Arizona. Jordan Watkins, I just mentioned, receiver for the 49ers. Ole Miss had a good OTA minicamp time period, and receivers are dropping like flies in San Francisco. So
do a Twitter Google search for Jordan Watkins.
he's nice. He's nice.
I mean, not even just his videos, but like some of the reports that are coming out, and like some of the content around him, like.
Tyler Conklin, we talked about him, 2 weeks in a row now, or 3 weeks in a row now. Mitchell Evans, tight end for the Panthers, went to Notre Dame. Now I know Jatorius or Javorius, whatever his name, Sanders is there, but he hasn't established himself. He was injured last year, going into his second season.
Yeah.
That job can be taken if somebody comes and kind of plays well. And Mitchell has some guy. I think he was a 4th round pick, actually, maybe 5th round. Diami Brown, talked about him and him for the Jaguars.
And I was going to bring him up when you started bringing up the Jags. But
Malik Washington for the Dolphins. I still think he's ascending.
Yeah.
And the coach likes him, and opportunity might be there, especially if Tyreek starts tripping or Waddle gets hurt again.
Yeah.
Elijah Moore for the Bills. He might be something over there. Like, it's crazy because it will be like a 4th year, 5th round breakout.
Yeah.
But he might be something over there. It's not like they have much else going on.
And he has the talent, too. Like, we all agree he has the talent.
I believe so. I'll never forget that video when he got drafted and A.J. Brown called him. Because remember, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, and Moore were together at Ole Miss. He called him. He was like, man, you were the best receiver when we were all together. Like, man, you deserved it, yada, yada, yada. So I was like, okay. That tells me something.
Yeah.
So, anyway, let's see. Who else? LaQuint Allen, running back for the Jaguars, went to Syracuse, 7th round pick. So, might not be much there, but just keep that name in mind. And again, these are dynasty sleepers, so redraft streets don't come for me.
I mean, some of these guys, I'm picking up in redraft too.
Redraft people, just keep them in the back of your mind. Jarquez Hunter, Hunter for the Rams running back. I think he's the handcuff. Went to Auburn, handcuff for Kyron, I think. Rashid Shaheed. I don't want people to forget how crazy the beginning of the season was for him last year. I know he got hurt, So it might be out of sight, out of mind. But every
Just
time I
so
look
up
at
and
drafts,
down. Yeah.
man, he started off the season on a hot streak.
Yeah.
And, he has the type of game where every play can be a long
Yeah.
touchdown.
Yeah.
So if you marry that with him getting better in the intermediate game, or maybe just give him screens or shoot handoffs, he's super fast.
Yeah.
He can really take off. And right now he's valued like in the mid rounds, like 10, 11, 12. Has he even been drafted yet? He probably just got drafted or something. So he's still out there, Rashid Shaheed?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's super undervalued.
Yeah.
So just somebody there. I'm not saying drafted Abby. I'm just mentioning his name. Jalen Lane, wide receiver for the Commanders.
Yeah.
Maybe he was a 4th round pick, maybe 3rd. But with McLaurin not being in camp, Debo, his game is his game. There's not much else going there. Noah Brown, I think, is kind of working his way back.
Yeah.
Lane might be the highest pedigree receiver there right now.
Yeah.
And he's a burner too. He's going to be involved in the return game.
Yep.
And he's one of those players where if he just gets an opportunity and shows something, he can really take off. And then finally, the guy I'm actually the most excited about, not the most excited he's going to be the best guy, but just the most excited to bring him up. Kendra Lambert-Smith, wide receiver for the Chargers. 5th round pick.
Oh yeah. I've been seeing a lot of highlights
from Auburn.
Yeah.
Man, he has that talent. Now, if the other tangible, it sounds like Dante Wicks.
Yeah.
What is his name? Dante Wicks.
Yeah.
It's almost like I know he's good at this
Wicks.
part, but the other stuff, if he's a knucklehead, all bets are off.
Yeah.
But if you can figure out that other stuff, they might have something special right there.
Yeah.
And he's a deep sleeper because they drafted Trey Harris in the 2nd round. Lad McConkey's there. Quentin Johnson's actually getting some buzz lately, so he might be, getting better. But just don't forget that guy because he has some game.
Yeah.
So, but I'm gonna start keeping it every week. I'm just gonna say the whole list.
Yeah. All right.
So anyway, you on the clock yet?
No, like he's one pick away, but you didn't.
But I got so much Jalen Wright, so
I didn't know she took Stevenson.
Right. So explain that Ramondre because I haven't seen you draft him all season.
Well, he's on the clock now. So.
Well, he's going so late. And again, we kind of have it in this idea that we just automatically assume Travion Henderson is going to be the lead back. And I just don't necessarily know that that's the case. I don't know what kind of role they are planning to have. I could easily see a situation where it is Ramondre Stevenson who's the main back, and then Travion Henderson is like the scat back, and his role may start to slowly build.
Well, you'd be right. Day one in training camp, Stevenson was the first back out there. He was the starting back. So.
I could also see a situation where like Travion Henderson just gets hurt. Like he just gets hurt, you know? He just gets hurt.
He has a lot of carries, so
it's not even that he's he's been hurt plenty of times in the past. So I think again, we keep going back. Like rookies can get hurt too. So I have so with this type of build, when I'm like, okay, I got Tootin and I got Judkins, it's nice to have a Stevenson. I just picked up again Najee Harris in the 12th. I'm just playing the news. Like I don't know about this eye thing, but like one, it's a first look game. Two, like he could show up in camp ready to go in 2 weeks. He's a veteran. And he could get the majority of the. Who knows? Like I don't know. Like they may use him on third
the type
down.
of back that the Chargers would like to. Like he seems like.
This is the other thing. And I'm not making a case as Najee being the guy or Marion Hampton not being worth his. But this is the thing. Like, at least again to start the season, because I'm looking at this in quarters. Like right now, Najee just may be very helpful. 12th round pick may be extraordinarily helpful for me in the first 4 weeks of the season, where like he's back in camp in a few weeks, healthy, good to go. And he's a guy that they trust on third down. He's the guy that they trust at the goal line, or the vet that they want to give the ball to at the goal line. He's the guy that they trust in like hurry up situations and 3rd-minute drills because he can pass protect very well and he has good hands. So that, I can't stress it enough. That like hurry up, that 3rd down role, like maybe Omarion Hampton can eventually get there, but really ask yourself, like a rookie coming in, like versus a vet, who are they going to trust with that role? Not who is more athletic or who's better. I'm not saying that it's for sure Najee Harris, but I could easily see a situation where it is Najee Harris. So then I'm getting a guy that maybe they trust at the goal line and a guy that just may get 3 to 4 catches a game.
You're about to be up.
And again, that offense doesn't throw to the running backs all that much anyway, but I just felt like I'm at a point in the draft where I'm drafting a lot of my guys and just getting guys that I really like. I considered your guy Shaheed here, but I'm also considering
you're just doing running backs. So
no. If I see a player that I'm just like, okay, this guy's fell, and I feel like this guy, value, I'll take him. But this is a guy right here that I feel like I've been kind of high on, and Again, I'm attacking this from a standpoint of like I want these young backs. Brashad Smith, obviously, this is the thing with the Kansas City Chiefs. I've noticed this every single year. Everybody gets runs with the ones. Okay, everybody.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson with who just got cut. Who's that guy that got cut? My guy that got cut, or like some of
The
us.
Chiefs?
Yeah, the wide receiver that just got cut. That we just like every year.
Oh, Justin Ross?
Yeah, Justin Ross.
Justin Ross,
so,
yeah.
so like everybody gets run like all the wide receivers get runs or get runs with Mahomes. A lot of the tight ends get runs with Mahomes. Like the running backs get runs with Mahomes. So like can't really put a lot of stock into that, but like you can see the archetype. And again, like on this type of build, like Isaiah Pacheco just falls off, or Isaiah Pacheco like gets hurt. Like this is a guy where like they may just say, you know what, from the offensive standpoint, like we don't really want to run all that much, except we'll bring
He's the
Kareem Hunt.
McKinnon.
Yeah, he may be the McKinnon, but like this guy actually like. Well, I don't want to knock McKinnon because McKinnon was legit when before all the injuries, but like post injury McKinnon's like he was pretty much just like a like a third down scat back. But Rashad Smith, like he still learning the running back position, but he's had a good 1 to 2 years now at the running back position, and they may have plans for this guy. Again, all these players, whoever I picked, I would be telling this type of story, but this is why I chose him specifically right now.
Yeah.
I actually, I'm really loving the balance of the running backs in this draft because and this kind of goes back to like what I was saying earlier. Like a lot of these guys right now are just kind of getting bad pub, or their counterparts are getting all the positive news. So their counterparts are rising in value, and these guys are lowering in value. And maybe this is where they belong, but what if it just sort of kind of regresses to the mean? You know, so I'm just trying to take advantage of that, and we'll see what kind of happens.
What are you gonna do as far as quarterback and tight end depth?
No quarterback depth.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it would be rare for me to draft a quarterback right here. Typically, if I get one of those top 4 guys, I'm usually almost never drafting another quarterback.
So if you draft Burrow, you're gonna take another quarterback?
Not always, but sometimes I may want to
Or
get.
you're just not drafting Burrow?
Yeah, I just really draft Burrow to
gotcha.
kind of even really be in that situation.
Okay.
But if I'm drafting him in the 5th, 6th round, it's going to be somebody late, like maybe if JJ McCarthy is there in the 16th round or something like that. The other guys, I'll take 2 quarterbacks. Like if I get one of these mid-round guys, I'll take 2 quarterbacks. And then sometimes, like if I feel the need to, if I'm not quite sure, I'll take 3 quarterbacks. I'm not going to put myself in a position where like I'm having to guess every week which quarterback to start, and I'm taking 10s and 12s. I feel like people just assume that like the quarterback that they're going to draft is going to ball out. These top guys are top because they're like they week in, week out. They're really going to have duds, like high end consistency. But these other guys, like you don't know. Like we didn't know. Nobody knew Mayfield was going to be as good as he was, right? Nobody knew Bo Nix was going to be as good. And even like for a good part of the season, good chunks of the season, Bo Nix was like not this like person you can just have in your lineup every weekend. He was
He was super trash.
So like, yes, there are guys that like I love, but like I'm not gonna bank on that. Even when I was taking Jaden Daniels last year, I was always doubling him up with somebody else. And then if I get guys later, if I gotta take 3 quarterbacks, I gotta take 3 quarterbacks because I'm gonna figure that position out early within the first 3 weeks. Okay, I know when this guy is gonna perform well, or I trust this guy on a week-to-week basis, and then I'll drop the other guy. But that's not a position like where I want to like be playing and like going in with just Caleb Williams, as my only quarterback.
Bo's all right. I mean, I don't know, man. Bo's all right. I'm looking at his stats right now. Like
So how did he start off? So what were the first 3 games?
All right, first 3 games, 14, 12, and then he hit 21.
Okay, so stop right there. So nobody was starting in week 1, right?
Nobody's starting in week.
So you definitely weren't starting in week 2 after a 14-point game. And you definitely weren't starting him week 3 for the 21-point game. So the 21-point game doesn't even matter. Again, we're talking about redraft.
But that 21, you probably wasn't going to start him for that 4th game.
You weren't, yeah. So
you needed like some.
Yeah, and so what happens the 4th game? How many points did you get the 4th game?
7.3.
Okay.
But you probably wouldn't start him that 4th game either.
Exactly. So that 4th game, you weren't starting him, right?
All right.
So then he goes 7.3, and he's like, ugh. Yeah. You probably dropping it.
Unless you're me.
Okay, so go through this and tell me when you felt comfortable, just like realistically when did you feel comfortable starting him?
Realistically, I probably would have started him that Carolina game. The Carolina game, because Carolina sucked.
Okay, so you might have got that 32-point game, and then you may have been able to run the tables with it.
Right.
But look how long that took, though.
Yeah.
No.
I got you. I'm still trying to get the plus minus system.
But that's what I'm saying is like those points matter. And the only reason I'm saying this is because I always go back to this one team that like did not make the playoffs. It was like years ago, and I had Matt Ryan as my quarterback, and I just could not figure out when to start him. And this team missed the playoffs by like 2 points. And if that team was in the playoffs, it would have been like top 3 overall finish, you know, in the fantasy tournament. And it was all in like I got some like absolute duds and trash games from starting Matt Ryan. So from that point on, I was like, this is not a position that I want to underestimate. This position scores the most points in fantasy. You know what scores the most points in fantasy? Why do I want to dedicate the least amount of resources to it from a draft ADP standpoint? If I got to draft 3 quarterbacks to ensure that position, I will.
Jordan Love, Justin Herbert. So I started doing quarterback rankings. I saw you doing your rankings, so I went in there and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do some quarterback rankings. I sort of see them in the same tier, though, like Jordan Love and Justin Herbert. So it's interesting that they are going back to back. Hopefully we can get Dio, Ted do some rankings for us, at least receiver rankings or running back rankings. Well, no, actually, he's our tight end whisperer.
Man, he's everything whisperer.
So, like, Dio should do our tight end rankings.
Yeah, that man is everything whisperer.
You're on the clock now. Who are you thinking about? Marshawn Lloyd just went. Like, he's one of my mid-round running backs that I like to pick up. Who are you thinking at this point?
To me, this was a easy situation. This actually might be my first share of Tank Bigsby.
It's not your first.
Is that my first? I've taken him before?
Yeah, you taken him before.
Okay, let me not lie on
because
on
when
the
you took
pod.
him at that time, I question you taking him.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, but I'm actually higher on him now.
So we already talked about why I didn't take him. So the counter argument is everything that Deo said before, or at least on a previous pod, about potentially Bigsby being the guy. Obviously, we saw how he ran last week. And it's just kind of like, okay, maybe I'm giving myself a 2/3 or slightly, you know, over 50% chance of having the main running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Liam Cohen in Tampa Bay used multiple backs for Rashad White and Bucky Irvin both had usable weeks kind of throughout the year. So for me, this is a situation where even if one of these guys is not the 1A, they still may be viable starters. And that's really just what I'm trying to build here for that RB2. But I'm honestly, like, I'm loving how this draft is turning out.
Mm-hmm. Is there some news on Sean Tucker that I missed? Because I've been hearing people kind of talk about him, and I've been seeing him going in drafts. So what's going on with Sean Tucker?
I've been drafting him. I feel like the reason I'm drafting him is not necessarily because I'm heard any news or, trying to go after him. It's just because I feel like the board has gotten tighter. And when you get to like that 19th, 20th round, like, you're really searching for guys. Like, so that's why I've been drafting him, but I haven't seen any actual news.
To draft Sean Tucker, the mindset has to be like Bucky or Rashid White got hurt, right?
I just
think
that
has to be the mindset. Are you saying there's a role there?
No. I think one would have to get hurt, and then I think also it's very early in the off season, and we know Rashad White is probably not the most happiest person right now with his current situation. Damn, I really wish I would have probably just want to take JCM with the previous pick now, but
Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt just went.
It is what it is. Are we still thinking Blake Corum is likely not the backup?
I don't know, man. I mean, like, I see the talent there, so. But that was part of the discussion that we had.
So are you looking at running back right now? Let me see what running backs are available to you.
Oh, no, I already know who I'm going to take for sure. Taj Brooks, but yeah, let me take a look. These are the running backs available.
What about Roschon? Roschon Johnson, I mean, like, he's in a backfield that's not necessarily solidified. Yes, DeAndre Swift has some history with his head coach, but
40 seconds.
Are we sure that Roschon isn't a guy to be considered?
I do not like Roschon Johnson. I do not think he's good. And I could be wrong. Like, that's a very subjective opinion, but I just don't think he's good. I went to UT. I watched this guy play. Like, I just don't think.
Did he start at UT?
No, he didn't start. Honestly, like, he was I mean, I don't say he wasn't, but he played running back. But to me, he was more like a fullback. He was more like he did everything else really well. Like, he was a really good pass protector. He was like, solid hands. Like, he was a bruiser. He like got the extra yards. But I don't see him as like a running back. I would never see him as a guy you would just want to like make the 1A or like have your running game centered around him. So I think even if in a situation where DeAndre Swift got hurt, I just feel like it would be Monunga or somebody else that would take over. Like I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but like Roshan is probably somebody I'll almost never draft. I may have like one share.
All right, Taj Brooks, you just took. Do you see Taj Brooks as the backup to Chase Brown, or do you think?
Absolutely.
So you think Zach Moss is just out of there?
Zach Moss is on NFI.
Yeah, he's on NFI.
All right, but he's still on the team.
Yeah,
he's on NFI, and they restructured his contract where he took like less money.
He had like it was a neck injury last year, right?
Yeah.
It was something serious. Those guys, anytime I hear neck injury,
that's what gave Chase Brown the opportunity. Because if y'all remember the beginning of the season, they were using both of them, and there were some games Moss actually played better than Chase Brown.
So look, this
for
is
like 3 games or something.
So talking about kind of news, so like we talked about last week, I was had a ton of Elijah Arroyo for whatever reason, for everything we talked about last week. Go back and check out last pod.
Because I looked at like, why I got so much Arroyo?
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
Yeah. 2 months ago we were talking about Arroyo. So now you're seeing him come up, and now he's past Mason Taylor. Right or wrong, but like to me, that's where one of those things where like now I don't necessarily need to reach on Elijah. If it in a certain bill I need him, I'll take him. But I've now enjoyed my late round shares. And then if guys like Mason Taylor start to fall past ADP or other guys start to fall, now I'll start attacking those other guys. I feel like guys moving up in ADP just allows me to naturally diversify. Like I don't have to force my diversification. I just get to like naturally diversify guys that I want or guys that I feel like, okay, maybe there might be.
I think we're jumping the shark with him now. Like you saying, like unless you need him, I don't see no scenario where you're gonna need him.
Yeah,
because we still don't really know what his role is. He's still technically a backup because they still have
Barner,
AJ Barner there, who's I forgot what draft or what round he was taken, but he's going to his second year and he looked pretty good last year.
Team 7 took 4 tight ends.
Well, look, the tight end premium. You better find one.
Right.
I mean, that's not a bad strategy. If you take a tight end late, like that's the last position that they took. So they're just trying to make sure that they have a bunch of shots of hitting on the right one. And I like the tight ends they took.
Yeah, because likely it's the most.
I don't know about Kincaid because I was looking. I mean, like you said, training camp news. I saw at least 2 other tight ends get reps with the ones with the Bills today.
Yeah, but the draft capital that you always talk about. I mean,
but draft capital is done now.
Yeah, we're past that.
This is the thing too. Like with a team like the Bills, like be cautious about saying, okay, this guy's gonna break out. He may break out. I'm not saying he won't, but you got to be cautious in the scenario where like nothing has changed. Offensive coordinator has not changed. The quarterback has not changed. The head coach has not changed. The offensive skill positions have had very little change, with the exception of they brought in more people. Like and now, potentially Knox like more.
Knox is hurt right now though, so that's
you see what
Knox is hurt.
Yeah, he is hurt. This is the one thing though. Like if he does, like if Knox gets traded or gets hurt, like then you could see like if he's playing 100% of the snaps, which again that stuff we can't predict, then he becomes like an absolute value. What I was gonna say is
maybe
Joshua
he also
Palmer.
Didn't look good last year.
Joshua Palmer.
Yeah.
Look up his contract.
I want to say they gave him a 3-year, 11 per year deal, but I'm gonna look it up for you.
I mean, I feel like his contract is significant.
Jack Beck just went. How long are you going to wait before you consider Dante Thornton?
He's not a Thornton guy.
I didn't say
you're not.
I'm not. Well, yeah, I'm not a Thornton guy, but I'm also like not a Jack Beck guy. The only reason I would be a Jack Beck guy is if they like moved on from Jacoby Myers at some point.
They gave him a 3-year deal, $29,000. So
no, $29 million.
$29 million. Sorry. So what is that? 9.75 per year.
How much is guaranteed?
18 mil.
I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty sizable.
$8 million signing bonus. Oh yeah, it's a good contract.
So you're not a Dante Thornton guy, although you're a coach speak guy based on a text message thread, based on a group chat.
No, I'm just looking at that offense. Like
I know, but
I don't want
Chip
any.
Kelly's like, hey, like this guy is a unicorn. Like we got to get him involved.
I don't want any in a redraft league. I don't want any number 3 wide receiver on my team. I want a number 3 if he could potentially take over the number 2 role. I don't want any number wide. I don't care how good you are as a number 3 wide. You're not getting drafted on my team. So I'm not saying that he's not good, but like I feel like it's going to like take an injury, and on that type of offense, I don't want to have to be guessing when to start him, unless it's a situation where like that offense is just crazy and they're just throwing, and then like you got 3 guys, including Ashton Genty, in the passing game that are supported.
You should really say you don't want a guy that you don't see a scenario where they can be the number 2 or number 1 receiver.
Yes, that's what
Okay.
you're
Really
saying.
what
That's
you're
what you're saying.
Well, for me, I agree with that, but I actually see a scenario
Me too.
where he can be not a number 1, of course, because number 1 to me is always going to be Bowers.
Yeah.
But I'm not a believer in Jacoby Myers where I can't see him taking his lunch, by a player that's more talented than him. And anybody else there, Trey Tuck, I don't believe in. Jack Besh is a rookie just like Thornton.
Yeah.
He can easily outplay him. So I can see the scenario, but I'm not going to argue the other way for you or against you.
I got you.
All right, so you're on the clock.
Yeah. So I'm
Board's looking real green right now.
Real
What
green.
was the last one? Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm looking. I don't really feel. I mean, wide receivers. I feel like I can still. There are a couple wide receivers that go really, really late that it's like almost handcuff wide receivers to me. But plenty of wide receivers, I feel like I can go after. I'm just trying to decide if I'm going to be able to get the defense that I want.
But you know what I keep thinking about
think I
when
will.
I'm looking at these late receivers? Remember Dio, but you were saying, hey, like one of these like rookie receivers, like will break out.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So like I always tell myself I need to take a stab at some of these rookie receivers.
But for every hit, there's going to probably be like 10 busts.
Yeah, but we're in round 16. So
it really is Russian roulette as far as picking the guy.
Yeah.
And I think Thornton is a good bet.
Yeah.
But he's not guaranteed. It could easily be Pat Bryant. It
Yeah.
could easily be Jalen Lane.
Mhm.
It could easily be Chimeri DK. It could be all these guys.
That's why. That's
But
what
this
for
is when
me.
I
Is,
like to
it's
take
like
those
like
steps.
Iron Man. So that's why like there are tons of those guys. So what
Mhm.
I'll do is I'll just let those guys fall to me.
Mhm.
So like if I'm like, okay, it looks like potentially defensive run. I got 2 or 3 defenses in my queue that I really like. I'll just grab those guys now, knowing that guys that like those late round wide receivers that potentially could hit or potentially could be something are going to be there in the 20th round. Now's when I kind of get those guys.
They're going to be on the waiver wire.
Yeah, they'll be on the waiver wire.
Be on the waiver wire.
So,
by the way, those first waiver wire runs, you got to go after your guys hard, or you're not going to get them.
Yeah.
If you believe in a guy, go after him hard. Spend the fab, ensure that you get them, and then be happy. Because if you miss on them and they have a great season, because that's what happened to me when Puka Nacua broke out a couple years ago. Like I drafted on a few teams just because I just liked his profile, but I wasn't like I didn't have any conviction. But then by the time the season started, everybody was like, okay, pick this guy for waivers, and I missed him across the board.
Yeah.
I was sick.
Yeah.
I tried to basically convince myself, well, it's not gonna be a big deal. He's just a marginal guy. Nope.
Give me
your type.
Yeah. Give me your take on what are you doing or how you're approaching Keenan Allen right now. Are you drafting at all?
Him.
You drafting him?
Because he's
I've been drafting him recently.
He's an easy drop. As soon as he signs with any team, his value is going to shoot up. Shoot up too. Yeah. Because he's not being signed on a team to be wide receiver 4. Yeah. So his base is going to be wide receiver 3. Yeah. With the chance of him to outplay the other 2 guys. Yeah. He might go to a team where he might start off as wide receiver 2. Yeah. So again, as soon as that news comes out that Keenan Allen signed with such and such team, he's going to go probably at least round 12. Yeah. At least. And right now you're getting where? 16, 17, 18?
Yeah. So look, you talked about Pat Bryant. We talked about this is tough. Actually, well, Keenan Allen goes a little bit later than Pat Bryant, so I don't have much Pat Bryant.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't take 2 more wide receivers, I'll say that.
You said what?
I think you should pick one or the other. Unless you just want to have all that wide receiver depth, but you already have 6 wide receivers?
You got plenty
5
of wide receivers, yeah.
Unless those first wide receivers bust, there's no reason to have 2 more wide receivers.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm looking at the tight ends here.
Tight end, I think, is where you're starting to get real.
So the tight end, the tight ends were like that. I'm going to take high upside tight ends.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
You're going to take Juwan Johnson. Who else?
You know what? I like the Keenan Allen one right here because I feel like actually, you know what? I think this might be my first Josh Palmer and Joshua Palmer. So,
man, fantasy world, y'all disrespecting Juwan Johnson. I'm just gonna put that out there. Over and over again. Y'all disrespecting.
He has been going so late that I'm just gonna wait.
Yeah, I know. Remember, I tried to do that last week. Somebody took me to the 15th round.
Yeah. You're in the wrong draft.
Oh,
man. You're in the wrong draft. You're in the wrong draft.
High.
So I got 4 more. Or actually, no, technically only 2 more skill positions I can take.
Yeah.
Which I feel like I think I got a lot of players on the board. That
I like the way you think about it. That's the way I think about it. I always look at how many more draft spots I have, so how many more skill players I can take. especially if it's a situation where it's like I know I'm weak at a position. Like say I'm telling myself I want to at least take 2 more tight ends.
Yeah.
I start counting it all out just to be prepared so I don't get, so it doesn't sneak up on me.
Dalton Schultz, he's just nothing.
No, don't do it.
Really?
If you're looking at let me see the tight end list.
I mean, I wouldn't take Dalton Schultz, but we haven't talked about Dalton Schultz.
Let me look at the tight end list real quick that you have. The tight ends.
I mean, like, think about it, though. Like, Dalton Schultz, I mean, like, this Texans receiver room isn't necessarily the same as when they had Tank.
Y'all sleeping on Freiermuth, man. His value is tanked too much for no reason. Just because
man, go Schultz over Freiermuth.
Actually, so ever since you kind of made that argument, or you talked about, I think you made a comment, and then I did see something as well on Twitter about there potentially being a bromance or a relationship between Aaron Rodgers and Freiermuth.
Yeah, they're building something.
Yeah, like Aaron Rodgers is definitely one of those guys. Like if it's his guy, it's his guy. And I've always thought the kind of DK, Aaron Rodgers, just their style of play is kind of one that's odd. Not to say that it's not going to work, but it's just odd. I
think the team just still values Freiermuth. When they just released these new jerseys that they're going to wear, who was the guy that they had wearing the jersey? Freiermuth.
Yeah.
Like they still look highly on this guy. They're not just going to say, well, we have a new guy to just sit on the bench. We don't need you anymore. I think they might just do more 12 personnel, or they might put Jonnu in as a fullback and Freiermuth as a tight end. Like I think they'll get creative, but I don't think Freiermuth is just out the door. And if a situation happens where Jonnu maybe gets hurt, then you have a top 12 tight end again.
Yeah.
And again, this late in the draft,
I'm not rolling.
The value is too low.
No, I'm taking Schultz over Freiermuth.
No, Schultz, no. I mean, Schultz is not even getting all the first team tight end reps right now in training camp. Case Stover's getting reps. Brevin Jordan's getting reps. I think during training camp, Brevin Jordan caught the first pass today in 11-on-11s. So, and the Texans also drafted a guy out of Iowa that I really like, but he got hurt the last 2 years, so he's he has an uphill battle. I think his name is Luke Lachey or Lachey or something like that. But he's nice. He's not. He same school, George Kittle, T.J. Hawkinson, Noah Fant.
Oh yeah, that's tight end U. That's the real tight end U.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's who they drafted. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was looking at Schultz's numbers last year.
They're bad.
Don't look at them. But even if you just watch him, like he was slow when he was with Dallas, but he just like had a knack for getting open, finding open space in the zone, like just sure hands. Like, but now he just looks slow. Like he just looks bad. And then he had drops last year too.
Yeah,
that contract. I mean, I get the contract because we needed guys, but.
Yeah.
If I was to go Freiermuth,
he took both of them. Well,
Ferguson would have been a good one too. I feel like Juwan. Who else is out there? What other tight ends?
My boy Conklin.
Theo Johnson gone already?
My boy Tyler Conklin.
Theo's good.
Conklin doesn't even get drafted, so he's like a guy like
Conklin you could take. Yeah. That's one thing about tight ends this year, and maybe not so much anymore because obviously all these tight ends going higher.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a point where you can like literally just wait on tight end the whole draft and still be able to get all these valuable players late in the draft.
Ferguson, like all these guys are going super late.
Yeah, Gadsden wasn't even being drafted.
All these guys are going super late.
You can even get Ferguson like in the last 2-3 rounds.
I did a lot of early drafts. It's crazy, like what is on the waiver wire in some of the early drafts.
Yeah,
like there's so much on the waiver wire in some of the early drafts.
Any chance Calvin Austin can be something with his Pittsburgh offense, knowing that Aaron Rodgers
best ball?
No.
Best ball. Maybe best ball. Yeah.
A guy that's not being drafted. That Tomlin was kind of talking up, and they were saying,
"Don't forget Robert Woods is there."
They need Roman Wilson. Like they were like, "Hey, like we expect Roman Wilson to
Roman Wilson there as well."
Yeah, to take a step.
Elijah Mitchell just went. Your boy just went.
I'm telling y'all, there's people that know what I'm saying. It might be a small community.
I've heard it.
But we're out there, and we're it's like that Russell Westbrook meme where you just eat popcorn. Take a little nails of Elijah Mitchell here on the side.
I'm there with you.
And here's another thing about these drafts that people need to always take into account. Just you, Abby.
And this is a first and 15 draft, and I'm not just taking them just because it's a first and 15 draft. Like I'm starting to believe. I was like watching tape last night, and also hearing that he played through an injury his last year of college. But I keep going back to this Cowboy room, and I'm like, man, none of these guys look like it's it. So we gotta do it. We gotta click it. We gotta click it. We gotta take it. Gotta take that boy, man. Phil Mott for 1st and 15. Planting the flag.
Yeah. That's us.
Planting the flag. That's us. Don't let
That's
nobody tell you anything differently. Phil Mott, we planting that flag. We planting that. It started here because we need to start doing that more often. Because like all these guys that like you've been talking about, that we've been talking about, the ADPs like skyrocketing
What I
now.
was gonna say was when you play these drafts, these FFPC specific drafts.
Yeah.
One suggestion I should have, I ain't want nothing, I ain't Abby, but one suggestion I should have for players, especially players that are new to this game, is when you take these last few guys, take them with the mindset that you are okay dropping them before the first game. Because, like Abby just said, you're going to look at waivers, and you're going to see this guy, this has got waivers, I want him. You have to drop somebody to pick somebody up. And you're going to have to drop these guys that you draft, because you can't drop the kicker and the defense. No. So it's going to be these guys you're taking around 17, 18, 19, 20. So don't build a team where you're taking these safe guys and you lock your roster up where it's like, man, I can't drop these guys because I need them for their safety. You got to take guys where it's like, if camp plays out and they don't hit or there's not a certain thing that I hear that I like, I'm okay just putting them back out there without seeing them, by the way. You know, so.
What about how do you determine that though? Because like, all right, so
take a guy like Phil Maffa.
Look,
I got you.
Well, no, I'm saying, look, we're also drafting like 2 months before the season starts. So we're gonna have all the training camp. We're gonna have preseason games. We're gonna know like pecking orders. And be like, oh, they got 4th on the depth chart, or that guy's on the practice squad. They gotta go to the waiver wire. I may still like that guy. He's in the back of my mind, one injury away type situation. But for the most part, he doesn't need to be on my team. Real quick question before it comes up to me, Woody Marks, Mr. Texans expert.
With the same sentiment I just mentioned now, I don't hate it. I think there might be something there.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, what other running backs would you choose?
I only got one position left, so it's either. Well, I'll tell you. I'll put these guys in order.
You 2 picks away.
Do you want to go running back? If you wanted to go running back, I actually think Woody Marks is a viable option. I don't need to
go running back. I don't think anybody's going to draft Tyler Conklin. I think he's going to be there. Do I even have another tight end?
You need a kicker. You can't.
Yeah, I'm at. So one of these last has to be a kicker.
Right.
Texas went that late. I could have waited on that, but I wouldn't have really taken anybody else there.
So you have only one specialty player to pick.
Yeah, I probably should have taken Gadsden there, but I only have one player left. So maybe I can go receive.
Now I will say this: I do agree with you. I think Conklin's going to be on the waiver wire.
Yeah,
but you're risking him having a good training camp and preseason, and then you're now battling everybody else to draft him or to pick him up.
All right, Pat Bryant just went, so now you're on the clock.
Okay, that makes it easy. So Jalen Royals, Tyler Conklin.
Now,
Juwan Johnson.
The other question I'm going to ask you is, do you see any scenario where you're going to have to bench Kittle anytime in the beginning of the season for that first quarter?
Bench? No. Not unless he gets hurt.
Right. So if you do take a tight end now, when are you really going to
I don't need to take a tight end. I definitely don't need to take a tight end.
So
but
that's a roundabout way of saying it. I think if you're going to take between Marks and Conklin, I would go with Marks.
You go with Marks, huh?
If those are the 2 options.
What about
most are still out there, right?
Royals, no, most is gone.
Okay.
What about Royals?
I mean, that's a first look guy. If you want a wide receiver, but again, look at your wide receivers. Like, who are you going to bench if Royal is playing well?
You're really only drafting him for.
Yeah, don't lock your roster up. You know.
Okay. You know what? Remember, everybody was thinking Marks is going a lot earlier in drafts too, for obvious reasons before Chubb got there. So who knows? Like, who knows?
I mean, we know Chubb is not a passing down guy.
This is cheap.
We know Chubb is not a passing down guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We know the Texans drafted Marks in the 4th.
Yeah.
We know they traded draft picks, high draft pick. Like they traded a 26th third to go up to take Marks. You know? He is literally the youngest running back on the roster right now. They have no other young guys.
Yeah.
Chubb, Mixon, Obungawale.
Damian.
I guess Damian Pierce is young, but I think Damian Pierce is going to get cut.
Yeah.
So I think there's a chance there. Yeah. I mean, the only problem is he's a player you might have to be patient with. You might not be able to cut him knowing what kind of value he is week 1. So
I'm looking at my draft. I'm a little upset about the Tank Bixby pick. I should have just gone JC on there. But
I think
if Bixby's
I
the
think
guy, I'm not gonna be
I
upset.
think that was a hedge pick on your behalf.
It was a hedge
Because if you
pick.
took 2, you got to believe it's.
I'm not against hedge picks. I'm not against. I'm not.
got
I'm not.
you.
Yeah, I'm not against the hedge picks. But I really like JCM. I don't know why. I just thought he was just for sure gonna be there. But I guess his ADP been rising too. So.
Well,
All right, so you got to take a kicker
Yeah,
here.
who we doing for kicker?
Yes,
Let's finish it strong.
Exactly. You right about that.
Now, I first off look guys. We talked about it last week when I did my draft. So the Cowboys,
Cowboys is off the board.
Eagles,
Jake Elliott, is he
Chiefs,
still up?
Chargers kickers.
Yeah, Chiefs,
Are
Chargers
all those
are
guys gone?
Yeah, the only one is usually the only one is Jake Elliott. So
if not him, I like looking at the Commanders kicker.
Yeah,
I think he's a great value actually.
I like Lutz.
And if he's gone, just looking at the guys you have available to you.
I like Minnesota kicker.
Riker, I like Riker.
That's usually
Fairbairn's probably gonna go.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily a huge Fairbairn. I also
He was kicking like 1,050 yarders last year.
Was he? I feel like he was missing quite a few.
He broke the record in the NFL for the amount of 50 yarders in the season.
Oh,
he broke the record.
That I did not know.
I didn't know that.
We'll add that to the list.
I didn't know that either.
That's a random ass fact. Not so random, but random.
It is. Hey, like he finished third amongst kickers.
Say what?
He finished third amongst kickers. He had a great season.
He did. And that was with a bad offense too, right?
I don't know if he broke it, but I know he at least tied it.
Real.
50 yard field goal.
Dang, I hate seeing guys.
Damn, like he got some games where he was putting up some points.
Oh, yeah, he was putting up points last year. I beat him with 1 week. That's 1 week when he went off when I was playing you in the listener league. Destroyed you that week. I mean,
everybody did.
Even my kicker was getting that.
Speaking of
throw in the towel. Throw in the towel.
Throw in the damn towel. Oh man, that's again for those of you guys who have been emailing in the comments, DMing me about the listener league. I'm not going back to the listener league. I don't know if y'all want to do it again.
I'm only doing it if you're doing it. If you're not doing it,
I'm not doing it.
There's no reason why you shouldn't do it.
I'm not doing it.
I just saw the last team you drafted. You drafted pretty well. Like you should. Outside of taking Jonnu in the 8, you drafted pretty good.
Well, I punted tight end.
Yeah, you punt, but then you finished strong, like you kind of did with what this other team did.
I'm not doing
the 6
slot. So Jake Elliott just went.
3 more teams are gonna take a kicker.
Beg pardon. Oh man, my kicker's going. Well, he already went.
Yeah, 3 more teams are gonna take a kicker.
Okay.
So you're gonna be able to get one of the top 4 kickers you have.
Yeah.
Fairbairn might fall, man.
Yeah.
Fairbairn might fall.
He won't fall.
He won't.
I know he's not gonna fall, but
Gay might fall.
You gotta speak it into existence.
Yeah. Just that's
why he's at the bottom. I'm surprised Lutz. Is that how you say his name? Lutz?
Yeah.
Lutz,
I'm surprised he's that high.
Denver's offense. He plays in Denver.
That's true. They have the high altitude.
They played Tennessee the first game. Not the worst matchup in the world.
Amari Cooper still being drafted.
Same argument you can make what I was making with Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
Only thing is, I don't know if Amari's gonna get signed.
Yeah.
That's the question. I think Keenan will be signed. Yeah. I'm not so confident about Amari.
Keenan at least finished the year strong.
Yeah.
Who's this guy gonna take?
I mean, like Amari Cooper just had so many drops last season. Man. Okay, Lutz just went.
Okay.
That was like the last person on my list.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I want you to get Gay or Fairbairn, one of the two.
Fairbairn.
I'm afraid both of them are going to be taken.
Don't say that, man. Come on.
I know. Like, Fairbairn's going to make it. Like,
positive thoughts, right?
Positive thoughts.
Yeah, he's going to make it.
Well, while we waiting on this,
I've been thinking the longer they wait, the more likely they are to skip the guy at the top of the queue. Mm-hmm. So I'm always happy about that. If the guy at the top of the queue is the guy I'm targeting.
I always think about the psychology of it.
Always.
The longer they wait.
Yeah, while we wait, if you haven't, please like, rate, and subscribe.
Damn, he took Fairbairn.
That's the order, right? Like, rate, and subscribe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He just took Fairbairn.
Yeah, he did.
Bastard.
Was he at the top of the queue?
He was at the top of the queue.
He wasn't at the top. He was at the bottom.
No, he's at the top of the rankings list, kickers rankings. So he's like next.
The guy at the top of the queue is.
Oh,
damn. He was at the top of the queue.
Damn. Now who do I take? Oh,
that hurts right there, man.
What about this guy, Tyler Luke?
Let's look.
It's Tyler Luke.
McPherson, maybe? For the Bengals?
I had him last year. He just missed so many kicks. He missed so many kicks. Then he got
Jake
hurt.
Moody, 49ers.
What about Tyler Luke?
Young Koku, Jason Sanders.
Young Koku.
Young Koku's in a kicker battle.
Yeah, and he plays in the dome.
He's in a kicker battle. Yeah, he's in a kicker battle. Or they brought in competition. They brought in competition.
I'm not
take
worried.
the Vikings kicker, man.
Take the Vikings kicker,
Yeah,
right?
take him.
I mean, he was balling before he got hurt last year.
Yeah. He's just not excited.
He isn't excited. But he plays in the dome, though, too.
Yeah.
Everybody's high on the Vikings this year. Hopefully they don't score touchdowns.
And that Matt Gay pick hurt.
Yeah.
Right there.
I'll get him when he drops him. All right.
All right, so your team rounded up.
Yeah. See, you started off scary.
Damn, boy. Look at all those running backs. Golly, I'm seeing green.
Yeah, but I like that I didn't stop at the 4 wide receivers and then I got Ricky Pearsall because, like, again, ambiguous situation.
Mm-hmm.
He's always on that list of, potential wide receivers that could break out and the opportunities there. It's kind of like a little mini. Like, if I didn't take Jalen Hurts, I definitely would have considered Brock Purdy.
How many first look players do you have? Okay, so Chris, that is one of the first things I do look at after I do a draft.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see how many first look guys I have, just so I can.
Steedy.
Okay, who else? That's it.
Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Then I have
Here's
also.
Jalen Hurts.
Oh, what? Scary.
Hey, that's
Najee Harris, Brashad Smith.
4.
Yeah, 4. Will Maffa.
Phil
Maffa.
5.
First look. 5
You got
first look.
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 first look players. So that's it.
all right,
So
guys.
the good thing about Maffa, if he doesn't do anything during the preseason or during camp,
Yeah.
and then he also doesn't even play week
Yeah.
1, he can just drop him.
Just drop them right
No
there.
problem.
Drop.
All right, guys, that's our episode this week. Please like, rate, subscribe.
See, I did not say it
Right.
right. I said rate, like, subscribe. It's like, rate, and subscribe. No, seriously, like, rate, and subscribe. Don't make me
Just
talk.
subscribe to our channel.
Yeah,
The button's
subscribe.
right there.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
All right, we're out.